Hi, I'm Jessie Haynes, your host for Principal Matters. You know, there are thousands of you who are parents out there, and your question has always been, how do we have more of an impact on our students, our children's education? Here today to talk to us are the president and the vice president of the Beaumont Metropolitan Area of PTA Councils, Ms. Constance Kemp, president, right?
Yes.
And Susan Truss,
Treasurer.
Okay, treasurer, money person. Well, we've been on a money roll lately.
That's right.
All right. Well, voices of the PTA for the Beaumont area. Tell us a little bit about Constance. One, how many PTAs do we have in our district?
There's 24 PTAs that we have currently.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And they tell me, PTA is pretty simple. It's not, you have to just get involved, right?
Definitely, that's on any campus. If you want to get involved, you just contact your school, your local school, and it's easy to get involved. It's just about volunteering and being an advocate for the children.
How much money does it cost?
Actually, every campus has a different set fee. It depends on the campus. Part of that does go to national, and then part of that goes to our state. So it would be determined on the school campus what their PTA dues are.
Okay, so we talk about money, and you, Miss Treasurer,
money lady.
You've got about how many members right now?
In PTA, each school has whoever signs up for the PTA. We have some schools who have more volunteers, more parents who are actively involved. We always like to have at least 100% would be, of course, the perfect number at each school, but we're working.
So that's good because I'm thinking parents, but it's also teachers.
Exactly.
So
and not only parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, people at your local church. Anyone can be actively involved in the local PTA. It's parent-teacher association, but parents are extended family. We hear the old cliche, it takes a village to raise a child, and that's exactly what it means. So anybody can be actively a part of any PTA.
Well, our superintendent was here earlier talking about how important parent involvement is. Right. And what he mentioned that years ago when he first came to Beaumont, that parents and teachers were not necessarily acting like we were on the same team. So now we've come a long way where everybody seems to be on the same page, and the main page is that you're more interested in seeing the results of student achievement.
Definitely so.
Yeah. So you've been dealing with the state PTA on behalf of the Beaumont area, right?
That's correct.
So tell me some of the projects that you guys have going on.
Actually, when we went to state this year, there are so many different projects that you can bring here locally to our community. And one of the things that we're going to do this year is a disaster relief project that's going to help in the event of a disaster that hit our local areas. And so what we're asking each PTA is to donate perishables, or whether it would be underwear, socks, or things of that sort that we would store in the event of an emergency, that we could have those things available for our community. And as well as Texas PTA, they do have a disaster relief fund that would be available to anyone that's a PTA member.
So people who were just suffering from the fires across Texas,
Definitely.
They were able to take advantage of the PTA relief fund?
That's exactly so. Exactly.
Canned goods and all that kind of stuff.
Wow. Yes.
Well, yeah, we know firsthand from hurricanes, right?
That's
right,
it. That's
exactly.
it.
Yeah. So the ability to have that ready and available is awesome. So you also, there's one project, I can't think of what it's called, where the kids kind of draw and color, and what's that big to do every year?
That is the Big Reflections program.
Reflections.
And that is one of the state PTA's biggest programs that they host. And actually one of our very own Westbrook students on last year made it all the way to the national level, which was a very awesome honor. So that's one of the biggest programs. I think the deadline is going to be November 18th to have any entries put into to council, and then we forward those to the state level.
So what do? They create art that's
Yes.
representative of parent-teacher-student relations?
Actually, they pick a theme every year, and the students decide to pick the theme. The theme for this year is Diversity Means, and you can do it through literature, you can do it through a poem, artwork, and there's a various diversities of what you can do it under, and you submit those to your local PTA, and then they would then forward it to council, and then the state judges on those levels.
Okay, so it's open to any student in the
Any
ISD.
student,
And
definitely
then
so.
you can go all the way to national competition, and if you win, you get what, a scholarship?
There's scholarship opportunities. There's recognition with the state level. And so there's a vast number of things once you get to that level that the state do recognize you on.
Okay. And then I understand that you're involved at every campus. And is that more about having volunteers on hand, just being there for the teachers when they need help? Tell me what the local PTAs are into.
The local PTA is hand-on-hand campus, like with the local PTA. Like my daughter attends Ozanne High School, my son attends Odom Academy. And what happens is I'm actively, by being a PTA member, I'm able to voice my opinion, some concerns I may have as a parent, some concerns that my student may come home and say, we're having this issue, I don't quite understand it. Being involved in the local PTA, you're actually able to go and be a part of a meeting where you're able to voice any questions, any concerns that you may have. And then that PTA addresses those concerns. And that's actually the greatest voice that can be heard to get some things done at your local school.
Because there's a group
That's a group.
you're expressing.
And your voice is heard, and we want it to be heard.
All right. And the state membership, just so people can kind of feel how expensive it is, state membership dues are
$2.25, and then the national is $2.25. At Charlton Paulin, where my children attend, our dues are $8. So a lot of time people have the misconception as to what my PTA dollars go to. So that is an opportunity for you to understand that $2.25 goes to our state, $2.25 goes to our national, and then the remaining goes to your PTA board for your local school.
So $8 for the whole year?
That's for the whole year. And there's great benefits in those $8. There's a vast number. If you would look at the website, there's T-Mobile that gives discounts. There's several ones, Avis Rental Car, Office Depot. So there's a vast number of benefits to joining PTA as well.
So you get your $8 back really quickly. Huh?
Definitely so. And actually La Quinta also, for vacationing, we utilize that very much this summer. There's an $85 locked-in rate, any La Quinta in Texas. So it's pretty good.
Not that we're really advertising all of those.
Exactly.
But, and also the bigger thing that I see on your website are just resources to help parents
Definitely
know what they need to do to make their students achieve better.
Definitely, Jessie. That is so important. And of course, those programs are free to our state, from our state. So in the programs, as far as, the parent involvement piece that goes with that, there's so much that we can learn from that, and that's valuable to our children.
Now, parent involvement, how does it feel to be one of the nation's top parent involvement programs? I mean, I know you had a lot to do with, the PTA had a lot to do with making that happen. So I know you guys have gone to a number of state and regional conferences, but when you walk in the room and they see Beaumont,
That's it.
parents from Beaumont,
It's awesome.
it feels good, huh?
It definitely does.
To be number one.
That's right. That's right, without a doubt.
So you guys have something that most school districts just really would kill for.
Exactly.
And even just to hit on that a little bit, I was there in Fort Worth. We went to Fort Worth on last year at the BAPSI, and it was awesome just to know that so many of people look at our model, our parent involvement team, and it's just really an honor to and I've met people since then that still said, you know what, you guys have a fantastic parent involvement department, and we do, and we're proud of that. We're proud of that.
Yeah, well, I think about PTA when, ages ago when my kids were in school, we won't tell how long ago, but yeah, I noticed that there is a difference. We were there definitely for the bake sales and the fundraising and getting equipment for the playground and those kinds of things, but also we never really, back then, we didn't feel like we had that voice to do anything but raise funds and do little projects. But this PTA, the new age PTA, there's a voice in how things are going to happen as far as my child's education as a group.
Right. One thing I can say about Beaumont's PTA, I have relatives who live in other cities in Texas, and they say how well the parents work with the teachers, and also the actual the board, the school board, and how they wish that their city had that and how they could be a part of and hear their voice to be heard. So we are really proud that Beaumont has a PTA that's working not only for the children as we should, but it's also bringing the community together.
That's right.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And surely you guys had a big say in us getting the bond issue passed.
Right.
Definitely.
Because you were there in the schools and you knew the conditions of the schools.
Definitely. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people said. You know, they may not understand the process of everything, but once they see it their kids are walking into these awesome buildings that we are able to compete. Not only compete, we are at the level of the highest level of learning and technology right here in Beaumont, Texas. So, all that was because of their vote. And so your vote does make a difference, and it makes a difference in the lives of our children and the lives of our grandchildren, and it actually is going to benefit the community as a whole.
Oh, I tell you, I've seen you all at a number of the grand openings, and it amazes me how the parents come out and they're wowed by. We did this, we made it happen.
Right. That's it.
So, and then like you say, the new technology.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. And the kids are excited about it. I mean, they're coming home saying, "Did you see my school? Come see my school." You know, they're proud to be a part of something, and it's for them.
That's right.
And it's because of them. And so that's what we need. We need more parents to become more actively involved. Just because we're number one, we want to stay number one, and that means we need every parent, every grandparent, aunt, uncle. We need everyone to be involved in their local PTA.
Okay, if someone wants to get involved, what do they do?
They would contact their schools. Contact your school.
The principal
that would be the first
coordinator?
Usually the principal doesn't get that call, but you can go through your parent facilitator on each campus, and they would direct you to the PTA president. And as far as the meetings, those should be posted as well at your local school.
Now, do y'all meet all the time, all these long hours? Tell me about the meetings, because...
Actually, that's another misconception, because it's not, you find that a lot of times when asking, have you joined your PTA? Oh, I don't have the time. Well, actually you do. It's not the long drawn out meetings. A lot of the meetings, you do have some organizational meetings that are lengthy, but then generally your general meetings, they're about business. And most times there's a program and there's something that we're going to go over, and your time is going to be very, very much taken into consideration.
Because you have committees who take care of the grunt work first before you bring it to the big group.
Definitely.
So there's opportunity for people to get involved.
On any level.
You're not going to take all of their time, even though it's important.
Definitely not.
Just the PTA is a way for parents to really have an impact on what goes on in their child's school.
Definitely so. Definitely.
And not just for your child, but for
all
the
children.
Bigger picture.
Exactly.
And the many children who are going to come behind.
Right.
That's
the
it.
community as a whole.
Yeah. All right, ladies, we're going to take a break, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more about PTA.
Okay.
All right, the movie. I'm Jessie Haynes, and we are talking to Constance Kemp, who is president of the Beaumont Metropolitan Area Council of PTAs, and Ms. Susan Truss, who is the treasurer. All right, we'll be right back. Hi, I'm Jessie Haynes, your host for Principal Matters. We're going to talk about after school. It's not what it used to be. Dr. Lorna Alexandra Mitchell, I always have that long name, hyphenated, is here to talk about the ACE program. That's the After School Centers in Beaumont ISD. Yes. So welcome to our program.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
After school, you can learn.
Absolutely.
You can eat, you can play games, you can bring your parents and they can learn a new language.
Absolutely. And
what is this new thing?
Well, we're getting kids ready for college as well. The after-school programs focus on 4 components. And of course, it's the academics. That's our big piece. But the enrichment, college career, and then family involvement. Okay. So all of those activities are incorporated into our after-school programs.
Okay. And that is not even the best part about it, but you will take the child home, pretty much almost to the doorstep.
Absolutely. Because our centers usually release about 5:30, 6 o'clock, we want to make sure that we're getting kids home safely. So the buses will do door-to-door drop-offs in the afternoon. So absolutely, BISD buses will take them home.
So parents who are wondering about, hey, I don't get off work until 5 o'clock. It's going to be 30 minutes. I really can't get there almost in time enough to pick my child up. They don't have to worry about that.
They don't have to worry about that at all, Jessie, because most of our programs end at 5:30. So the bus ride will take about 30 minutes or so. But we make sure we have good contact numbers and all that. In case we go by the home and no one's there, then the bus will usually make a trip and come back. So
what an awesome service.
Absolutely.
And you help the students with the homework.
Yes, we also, at every center, we have homework assistants. And the homework assistants is monitored by skilled, certified BISD teachers. So there's no babysitting here. These are skilled staff and definitely inspiring our kids to learn.
Okay. And then they get a nice snack, maybe a pretty healthy snack.
Get a healthy snack through our food service program. We offer either a cracker and a juice. But one of the good things, Jessie, that we hope to start in the next couple of months is a meal. There is a new program out there where we can actually put an application in to have a meal served for our kids. So we're definitely pushing to be able to do that, because how great would it be for a kid to come home, homework's almost finished, and we've had something on our stomach. So that's what we're definitely pushing. That's going to be a new thing for our program.
Oh yeah, mom and dad would be like, we don't have to cook. All we have to do is look over the homework.
A good hot meal.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, so that's coming up, you say.
Yes.
We hope.
We're hoping. We're working with our food service department at this time, and there's an application process that they have to go through. But absolutely, it's out there. It's kind of a new thing, so it takes us some time to get it in place. But we plan on doing that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that takes another pressure off us as parents too. A lot of times we don't know this new stuff that kids have to learn, but you've got somebody there to help the students with their homework and make sure the students really got an understanding of what they're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. Right? Through the guidance of our superintendent, he always tells us to look at our BISD staff first. So we're looking at certified teachers. When we start interviewing, we're looking at teachers who have expertise in math and science, because that's where we originally started, by looking at those weak areas that we had in the district, and it was math and science. So we go out, we interview teachers, and most of our staff is BISD staff.
So has this program, it's been in place, what, a year?
This is our third year.
Third year already?
Absolutely. It's gone by fast. We actually this is a 5-year grant. So we're in our third year. We have 2 more years, and definitely looking for funding to continue this program and to expand it as well to other sites in the district.
Yeah, have you seen an impact on student achievement?
Absolutely. We are required to do an evaluation, and at the end of last year, it actually showed that our kids, because what we have to do, we have to count only kids who attend 30 days. They can't just come 1 or 2 days and stuff. But the way the state looks at it is if a kid comes regularly, and the way they count regular is 30 days. So if a kid comes for 30 days, then we look at them as compared to some of the other kids who don't come for the 30 days. So absolutely seeing some wonderful results.
Is it open to any child in the district, or how does this work?
The way it works, we were approved for 10 centers. The state usually only allows a district so many centers, so we apply for 10, and we have 10. We have 6 elementary sites and 4 middle school sites. At the middle schools, we have Austin, King, Smith, and Vincent, and those sites service 6th through 8th grade. Now, our elementary sites, say for example Callwood, they go all the way to kindergarten. They have kindergarten through 5th grade. But the other sites, which would be Homer, Fletcher, Martin, Peach Mac, and the other one escapes me, but they go 2nd through 5th grade.
Okay, so you don't have to be a student at those particular schools. You just have to be, you can feed into those schools. If your school is near that school.
Some of them. One of the starting criteria was Title I school-wide, because the Texas 21st Century Grant is a part of the No Child Left Behind program, but it was a competitive grant. So the first thing they looked at is the campus, Title I school-wide. So those campuses were eligible. But now the way it works is that we have feeder sites. Say, for example, Fletcher, they have 2 feeder sites. They have Charlton Paulett, and they have failed price.
Okay.
So some of them do. All of the schools didn't qualify because if they were not Title I, they didn't
But
qualify.
that's probably at least 2/3 of our schools
Oh,
qualify.
absolutely. All of the elementaries except two.
Okay.
Absolutely, the children have access.
Great. And this grant, how much was it?
It's actually $2 million for 5 years.
Okay.
$2 million for 5 years, and the way it's set up, each site gets $200,000 per year. And so this is our third year, and we've been expanding a lot. We were fortunate that we were awarded we got an award from the state because our programs are doing so well.
You did.
Absolutely, very proud of that.
Okay, yeah, by the way, audience, they won an award from the state for having one of the best programs, a model kind of a program, right?
Absolutely.
For after-school centers.
Absolutely. The way the state sets up, they call it Prime Visit, and they come out and they go to sites. They talk to teachers, they talk to parents, they talk to students, they talk to administrators, and they look at everything that's going on. It's like a whole thing. It's not just one particular thing.
Yeah.
And then they come back and say, okay, you guys did a really good job, and they call it a Prime Visit. And it's broken down into 5 components: planning, resourcing, implementing, managing, and enduring. So we hit all of those with high marks, so we were able to get an award, so very happy.
Yeah, I remember when you first came on board, did you envision any of this being this big, and $2 million a year for 5 years, or $10 million operation? Did you envision that it would have this kind of impact and that you would be a model for the state?
No, I didn't. It's just been wonderful.
Well, how did you end up, what's your background? I mean,
oh, wow.
how did you get to be the chosen one to lead this program? What was it that you brought to the table?
I had, I guess, a lot of experience dealing with some grants. Prior to, I'd been an elementary principal. I actually was the principal at Fell Elementary for 3 years,
okay.
and then decided to go to Houston. And I went to Aldine, and there I was the director of consolidated programs.
Okay.
And so I had a lot of grant management skills there. I actually worked in the finance department. So that helped me come and understand the budget, because it was very interesting how the budgets are set up for this grant. And then also as a project director for Title I in Aldine ISD. And so just, some personal things happened, and I started coming back and trying to get back in Beaumont ISD because that was home for me. And I was able to apply and get the job. So all of that training really helped me every day with dealing with this grant, because it's massive.
Well, you've done a fantastic job, I tell you. When we think about just what after-school programs used to be, it's definitely not a babysitting service.
It's not, and we keep saying that. It's really a hurting feeling when people say that to us. I just glorify babysitting, but it's really not. We really work. The idea is that we help working parents, because a lot of times parents don't get off till 5 o'clock. And so if we're keeping the kids there, it's a safe place. You're familiar. This is BISD. I mean, you've had access. The kids go here during the day. Most of the teachers work there at the schools. So we're also inspiring learning, because the kids come in and one of the things that we do at our program, we let them have voice. And the way we get voice is saying, okay, what's some of the activities that you like to do? And of course we get some things that we can't do, but then we try to disguise it in the act of learning. So it's worked out really well for us.
Yeah, oh man, I tell you. So you don't have a lot of latchkey kids that you have to deal with now, because they tell me that's the time, that 3 o'clock to 5:30, that's when stuff happens to kids.
Absolutely.
When a child is at home, maybe waiting on mom and dad, or mom and dad to come home, that's when they get into a lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble.
And so the ACE program, not only are they learning, but they're getting advancements that they wouldn't normally get.
Absolutely. We try to open up to a lot of things that the kids, one of the things that students really love, the culinary art, because they're getting the chance to learn. And we try to give them recipes that they can try at home, like stuff that they can prepare in a microwave, maybe when mom's not home. But just the idea that a lot of them really enjoy that.
Oh yeah, I heard you guys had some little emeralds in the making over there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, well, then also that students are not just the only ones taking advantage of the ACE program, that you've got people learning second languages
Absolutely.
and parents that are actually there.
One of the things that we're starting this year as well at one of our sites, Smith to be example, they're going to, they have the workforce coming in and helping parents with some job training skills, which we're really looking forward to that. And we do a lot of teaming with things that go on with Title I, so that's been a blessing for us that we can team with them and expand whatever programs they have going on.
Okay, so if I'm a parent out there and I want to get involved with what you may be offering parents in after-school programs, or if I want to make sure my child is eligible for an after-school program, what do I do?
I would probably suggest just checking the office because we have a lot of connections, and pretty much what we do, we put our material there in the office. The principal absolutely knows about our program. They're very supportive, and then the frontline staff, they're there. So each site coordinator works on those sites, and so if they go in and ask about ACE, they'll definitely be directed to those site coordinators.
Okay, and are we online too? Is it on our website? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so Dr. Mitchell, thank you so much for sharing that information with us. I expect that you will get a lot more calls and a lot more emails from parents who want to get involved with ACE.
Great, I look forward to it.
English 3, it's American literature, and we start off with the beginning of America, which has to do with the Puritans, and we focus on that literary period.
We choose the town because we try to get creative with it. We didn't want just a newspaper and just a summary about it. We wanted to try and push our limits and be creative.
We did a little mini research project at first where the students were given an actual person from the Salem witch trials that they went online and found information about, so they, was self-directed. After we did all of that and they had compiled all their information, they decided as a class what kind of visual representation they wanted to create. And this class chose to create a model of the town of Salem in 1692.
We had to do a project of the Salem witch trials, and when we first heard about it, we just sat around like, we don't want to do this. And then the next thing we know, Miss Malone asked us to start saying ideas that we would like to do for the project. And I just shouted out, build the town.
Started off, we learned about who the Puritans were and why they came to America, and the way that they lived and all of that stuff. And then we moved on to reading poetry and short stories that were during that time period, listening to sermons, because those were the kind of literature at that time.
Detail, boy, it just came to me like I watch a lot of TV and I've been seeing blood on them when they do that kind of stuff. So I thought, why not put blood on the board and stuff? And I had researched and looked how to build it, but it took me a while, but I finally got it.
And then we started talking about the actual witch trials, which were just a piece of Puritanism. And the majority of our students, because they have taken English 3 before at this campus, they have read The Crucible, so they were familiar. So instead of going back all through The Crucible again, I decided to make an extension project where they chose a character that was real, from the time period, and then do the research on that character, and then they came together and chose to make a model. Now,